What up, guys? Miguel here of Tech, and INFINIX has been on fire with its latest budget gaming releases this year. In particular, the company has released two formidable devices, the INFINIX Hot 30 and the INFINIX Note 30 5G. Talk about similar sounding names, am I right? Anyways, while the two phones may seem alike from the outside, they do actually have key differences that may sway you from one over the other. What are those differences? Let's find out in our head-to-head spec matchup between the INFINIX Hot 30 and the INFINIX Note 30 5G. On the outset, the main difference between these two devices is price. While both phones are marketed as budget gaming options, they actually have a 2,500 peso price difference between them. Specifically, the INFINIX Hot 30 comes in with a 6,999 peso price tag, or just under 7,000 pesos with 128 gigs of internal storage. Meanwhile, the INFINIX Note 30 5G starts at 9,499 pesos, also with 128 gigs of internal storage. With this alone, some of you may already have a clear answer on which phone to buy. But if you're wondering what extra features you get with the extra 2,500 pesos, let's dive in deeper. First is design. Both INFINIX phones have flashy back panels, but in different forms. The Hot 30 has a prism-like back that reflects light at different angles. We like the look, but the texture does leave more fingerprints than we prefer. Meanwhile, the Note 30 5G has a more understated gradient design that isn't a smudge magnet compared to the Hot 30. Both phones feel comfortable to hold and have solid overall builds. We also get 3.5mm headphone jacks, dual SIM trays, microSD card slots, and fingerprint sensors on both devices. So far, so good. For display, the INFINIX Hot 30 carries a 6.78-inch Full HD Plus IPS panel with a 90Hz refresh rate. On the other hand, the Note 30 5G also features a 6.78-inch Full HD Plus IPS panel, but this time with a 120Hz refresh rate. Average users probably won't notice the 30Hz difference. But if you're a hardcore mobile gamer, the 120Hz screen on the Note 30 5G is of course superior. Both displays get reasonably bright and offer good color reproduction, so you won't really lose out on either one. We do have to mention that while both devices offer stereo speakers, the Note 30 5G comes with JBL-tuned sound. It's not going to blow bass lovers out of the water, but the extra tuning does provide good separation in terms of soundstage and offers decently loud volume. For performance, the INFINIX Hot 30 is powered by a MediaTek Helio G88 chipset, while the Note 30 5G runs on a Dimensity 6080 5G SoC. Both phones come with 8GB of RAM and can be set to have an additional 8GB of virtual RAM. On paper, it's clear that the Dimensity 6080 one-ups the Helio G88 in speed and performance, and it shows. It performs better on most benchmarks, real-world use, and gaming. That's not to say the Hot 30 can't hang. It can. But you will have a better experience on the Note 30 5G for sure. Lighter games like Mobile Legends and Call of Duty Mobile run great on both devices. But if you plan on playing more graphically intensive titles such as Genshin Impact, the Note 30 5G is the better option. Do keep in mind though that while the Dimensity 6080 on the Note 30 5G is better, it's still a budget gaming smartphone. This means that you will need to turn down graphics settings to play games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail at reasonable frame rates. Aside from the faster chip, you also get 5G connectivity on the Note 30 5G, while the Hot 30 only has 4G LTE. Whether or not 5G matters to you is a question of personal preference, but it is impressive to get 5G connectivity at the Note 30's 10,000 peso price range. For storage, you can get the Note 30 5G with either 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage, while the Hot 30 only has a single 128 gig variant. Both phones also feature expandable storage, with the Hot 30 upgradable up to 1 terabyte, while the Note 30 5G can be expanded with up to 2 terabytes, both via microSD. For cameras, the INFINIX Hot 30 has a 50-megapixel main sensor, an AI lens, and an 8-megapixel selfie shooter in front. Meanwhile, the Note 30 5G carries a 108-megapixel sensor, an additional 2-megapixel lens for depth, and a 16-megapixel selfie camera. While both phones can produce good photos in decent lighting, you will get more detail out of the 108-megapixel camera on the Note 30, extra pixels and all. However, we did notice that both camera systems struggled in low light and more challenging shooting conditions. It's clear that the camera really isn't the main focus of the Hot 30 and the Note 30 5G, despite their large camera modules. Video capture also isn't a strong suit on both devices, with footage on both the Hot 30 and Note 30 5G struggling in terms of stabilization and detail. Selfies on both are decent, provided once again that you shoot with enough light. Last but certainly not least is battery. Both the Hot 30 and the Note 30 5G carry a 5000 mAh cell. However, they do differ in wired charging rates. The Hot 30 only has support for 33-watt wired charging, while the Note 30 5G has the faster 45 watts. Both devices can last you a full day, even with gaming sessions sprinkled around. However, if faster charging speeds matter to you, the Note 30 5G has a significant advantage with its support for 45 watts as opposed to the 32 watts on the Hot 30. So, what have we learned? For 2,500 pesos more, you get a less fingerprint-prone design, a higher refresh rate screen, 5G connectivity, better performance, a sharper camera, and faster wired charging. Not to mention the JBL tuning and the more diverse memory options, all in the INFINIX Note 30 5G. Don't get us wrong, the INFINIX Hot 30 still offers really good value. With its large screen, decent performance, and full-day battery life, the Hot 30 is a good buy as a budget gaming phone, especially if you're set on only spending 7,000 pesos. But if you can, we really feel like the Note 30 5G brings enough improvements and creature comforts to warrant the extra 2,500 pesos to spend. And if your budget permits, definitely go for the Note 30 5G. So, what did you think of this matchup? Would you rather get the Hot 30 or the Note 30 5G? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful or informative, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of our future uploads. Be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Miguel, and I'll see you in the next one.